Hello folks, since there's going to be about 6 inches to 7 inches of snow falling around my neighborhood, guess I'm going to do my East Coast economic update for January the 10th, 2009. Once again, tortured by the weekend edition of the Financial Times. First off, the U.S. hits its worst job cuts since 1945. Guess what? Verified on the internet. That's 1945 was the first year they started following job losses and unemployment. It's the worst ever. Not only that, but the reason why it went from they assumed it was going to be 7% versus 7.2% is because the November numbers were off by 100,000. So I can almost guarantee you, without trying and without an economic degree, that we're going to be near 9% by February and probably over 10% by March. Second of all, right next to it, Senor Robert Rubin. Does he sound familiar? Sure he was. He worked in the Clinton administration in 1994, helped drop the Glass-Steagall Act, which allowed banks and brokerage houses all to hold hands and do what we are now stuck in, which is exactly what happened in 1929. Guess what happened after Mr. Clinton signed that law out? Well, Mr. Rubin quit his job as Secretary of the Treasury and went to work for Citigroup. And now he's about to leave Citigroup just before it implodes, and there's probably a huge investigation. That's a guess, by the way, but I bet you I'm right. Next thing I'd like to point out, I have a hyperlink, whoops, over there. It's to a guy named Back It Up With Facts. Fantastic fellow. If you haven't subscribed to him yet, subscribe to him. It's an interview with Barney Frank, the head of the chairman of the House Finance Services Committee in the House of Representatives, the guy who gave the blank check to Mr. Paulson. Well, apparently Mr. Frank, or as I refer to him as Elmer Fudd, and you'll figure it out if you haven't listened to him speak, during his interview, kept blaming everybody, including the Vietnam War, for the inconsistencies of the Bush administration. And though he says, and you'll listen to this, you'll love it, he had power, but he doesn't have power, but he quite has power, but of course he has power, but you don't understand him. Short story being long, well, here's the thing. They gave him a blank check, Mr. Paulson that is, and the General Accounting Office, which created an oversight committee, which is going to be gone as of January 20th, because, well, the new administration is going to come in. Who knows if there's going to be an oversight committee after that. Could not find one receipt, one iota of $1 that you've given of the $350 billion. The reason why you don't have any money in your pocket is because they give it to Citigroup and other guys like that. There's no accountability. And Mr. Frank is under a lot of heat. And we should keep giving him a lot of heat. Don't forget also that Mr. Frank also raised the jumbo mortgage line from 3 something or other to 419, and surprisingly also got a mortgage for a house through, let me see, Freddie and Fannie Mae. So, if you're not angry yet, I don't know what will make you angry. In other news, personal aspect, since, let's say January the 4th, it's been very, very quiet at my store. We're holding on. Appreciate your prayers and hopes. But a lot of people are not shopping, except for this snowstorm, which actually apparently we're getting about 7 inches here in lovely New York, which for any of you guys in Buffalo, I know it's just a sprinkle, but it's pretty drastic here. Also, another thing that really ticked me off, let's see, I think the 2nd or the 3rd of January, I received something from Social Security. It tells me how much money I'm going to get when I retire. Now, I'm going to try to find this, but on WOR, Mayor Michael Bloomberg, made a statement when one of the commentators asked him, what's your view, because he's a billionaire, Mr. Madoff's situation as Ponzi scheme. Our beloved mayor paused, mused, and said, you know what I think is a Ponzi scheme? Social Security. Let me tell you something. I'm getting a piece of paper. It tells me that I'm going to get X amount of dollars when I turn 65 or 70. You know it, I know it. We're not going to get that money. You know what I'd like to do? I know I'd probably go to prison for this. You know what I'd like to do? I like to walk into Social Security and say, listen, you see this money that you said that you've taken out of me since I was 14? I mean, FICA, whatever his name is. I like that money up front, and I like to invest it myself. Hell, I'd like to take that money and just blow it, because I'm not going to have it when I retire. They'll never give it to you. You know why? It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. So I don't know if, like I said, if you're not angry now, you don't have a pulse. I could go into the whole discussion of Mr. Obama's stimulus package, which in some cases, some commentators and whatever you want to call it, economists are predicting that we will have multi-trillion-dollar years of deficits. It's got to stop, guys. It's up to you. Also, I'm going to leave a hyperlink to Gerald Celente, trends.com. Great guy. He indicated, and I will also put that hyperlink, there's a couple of videos, basically him on Rense.com, actually this past Thursday, talking about the possibility of riots in February. And to my chagrin, I stumbled across the Oakland riots, though not necessarily economically motivated, a precursor of what I think may transpire. Well, let me know what's going on in the rest of the world. God bless you all. Let's see what happens on January 20th. Should be very interesting. Peace, folks. Good luck.